And we'll get started here as both teams have loaded in. So we're going to have tonight's matchup is the AD2L Season 10 Heroic matchup between PG Eclipse and Team Resilience 2. I'm being told that they're actually under new management now, so they are underneath Forge Gaming or Forge GG, and they have just yet to rebrand. So for those of you who know them as another name, and you can see there in their name tags, they have Forge Gaming, Forge GG, Forge Gam on X Shadow ZX, so definitely sporting some of the Forge tags. So Team Resilience, Forge Gaming, I may refer to them interchangeably throughout the match, but they are going to be on the Dire side of the map, so Team Dire, that's what they are tonight. I, of course, am Darmin, coming to you live on twitch.tv/DarminCast, twitter.com/DarminCast, and DarminCast all around. So, thank you for tuning in. For those of you who are new to the stream, shoutouts to Harrison MLG, Steel Dota. Got a bunch of new names in here. Grail, Dead Prom, everybody. So, appreciate you stopping by the channel, and hopefully I do not disappoint. I'm a little bit rusty still. I cast a few games yesterday, but AD2L saw fit to allow the Dota population to take a little bit of a break through December in between seasons 9 and 10, and there weren't a ton of games being played at the amateur professional level. So it's good to be back, though. Good to be back casting. It's good to be back watching Dota. The Shanghai majors are underway as well, so there's plenty of Dota to be watched out there, and everything's ramping up for a very combative 2016 in the Dota arena. And as we enter the draft here, the bans have been made by both teams, the first round of bans, and you have Forge Gaming or Team Resilience banning out the Doom and the Spirit Breaker, getting rid of some of that meat out of the potential draft, while PG Eclipse instead opt to remove the Invoker and Vengeful Spirit. The bans coming out of PG Eclipse are definitely mirroring what you're seeing in the professional circuit right now. The Quas Wex Invoker, one of the top picks in the Shanghai major qualifiers right now. And at this MMR bracket, it's a hero that can definitely be used to wreak some havoc on the opposing team with the Tornado EMP combos, just kind of dominating team fights. And Vengeful Spirit, always, in my book, a platinum tier support hero. It can be played as a core, but just having the swap, the armor reduction, the stun, it's a hero that definitely has a lot of benefit all around. And even if you do kill her as a support, she still has that lingering presence that drops enemy damage by 33%. So, smart bans. Smart bans on both teams, as Team Resilience, I've got a few more follows here. Harrison MLG, appreciate it. Mindstruct, appreciate it. So welcome to the Darmin family here. I'm not sure if I have pop-ups announcing the follows here on the draft screen, but you get the call out anyways. So for the picks on both sides of the squad here, you have Tusk and Faceless Void as the first two pickups by PG Eclipse, and Bane Juggernaut by Team Resilience.
5 seconds remaining.
Bane, always another one of those. I don't know if I would say platinum tier, but definitely top tier support heroes. I remember, God, it must have been a year ago, 2-3 patches ago, there was the infamous Bane Mirana combo, where Bane would wander around, cast Nightmare, and set up the Marana arrow for long distance and long stuns. I am not really a shoutcaster, Mindstruct. I'm more of an analyst than a true caster. But,
5 seconds.
well, I shouldn't say I'm not a true caster. I'm obviously casting Dota right now. But you won't hear me cast at quite the same rate as OD Pixel or Llama Down Under in any of those rapid fire casters.
Sky Wrath Mage.
Dire team pick.
Let's see. Sorry guys, trying to keep up with some of the Twitch chat that's going on there. Don't want to leave anyone out. But with Bane being picked up here, even without the Marana, if they decide not to go that way, the Nightmare's still an excellent early setup for the Jugs to get in position and spin to win with Blade Fury, get that early damage going, and once Bane hits level 6, Fiend's Grip, which goes through BKB, goes through a ton of stuff, is one of the hardest lockdowns in the game. Couple more ints being picked up here on both sides of the squad. You have Oracle and Skywrath Mage. Skywrath Mage is actually a great complement here to the first two heroes of PG Eclipse, because heroes can be stuck by either Ice Shards or Snowball, and that sets up for a pretty solid Mystic Flare. It's not quite as much of a lockdown as, say, the Clockwork Cogs, but it's enough to keep him in position for that Mystic Flare to do quite a bit of damage. And the same with Faceless Void's Chronosphere. But as it sits, there's not a ton of hard lockdown on PG Eclipse, whereas on the other side of the map, you have, as I mentioned, the Fiend's Grip coming out from Bane, and with Slardar making his way into the pool now, you have Slither Crush for that Blink Initiate, that Blink Stun lockdown.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Trying to prevent PG Eclipse from getting any true stun, they also opted to ban out the Earthshaker as well as the Zeus, so you won't see those early nukes coming out from the Zeus, the level 6 Zeus spam, as it pretty much turns out to be in every pub game I play with a Zeus, where PG Eclipse opted to ban out a few mids of their own, getting rid of the Viper and the roaming Pudge, the presumably roaming Pudge. For those of you who tuned in last night, you know there was let's call it a meme that was running through Twitch chat that was proclaiming whichever team has the most fish wins. We had some Slardars, some Slarks, some Tide Hunters, and it was the fish prophecy. And while it held true for game 1 between, I believe it was Team Firestarter, and who else was it last night? It was Firestarter and Empower. So, game 2, which lasted an hour and 7 minutes, did not favor the fish team. It was a very last second upset. But it was a great game to cast, and it was a great game to watch. So hopefully you guys have tuned in for that. And so far, if the Twitch meme holds true, Team Resilience have the favorite draft here with the 1 fish to 0 in the form of Slardar. But there's still a spot on each team's roster, so you might see additional fish come out. A few Dota potatoes in the audience, huh? I'm being asked what tier this is. This is the heroic tier. So for season 10 of AD2L, or for AD2L in general, there's typically 3 tiers. There's the entry, the champions, or excuse me, Entry, Heroic, and then Champions in that order. This season, there weren't quite enough teams registering for the Champions division, and so I forget how many teams it was. It was like 3 or 4 total. Those champion tier teams are being rolled into the heroic tier. So for season 10, there's just 2 tiers, entry level and heroic, and this is a heroic tier. Last pickups here, both teams gonna be working into their reserve time a little bit. PG Eclipse picking up the Razor in response to the Slardar, and now Team Resilience with their last pick, taking the remainder of their reserve time here, making sure they know exactly who they want to flesh out this lineup. Obviously they're going to be looking for a mid, but PG Eclipse have banned out 4 major mids already in the form of Invoker, Pudge, Viper, and Lena, so putting a high priority on limiting the mid potential of Team Resilience. They do pick up mid eventually here, and it's going to be the Silencer. Surprised to see that. I would figure probably a Queen of Pain, as they already have a bit of initiation, but this does give them something to combat the Faceless Void, and you've seen this with, I think, LGD was playing a constant Silencer response to Faceless Void picks, as anytime Faceless Void pops his Chronosphere, Silencer pops his ult in response to silence the opposing team entirely and lock them down, and that prevents things like the 1-2 combo I had mentioned before of the Chronosphere from Faceless Void into the Skywrath Mage ultimate, and just dumping all the damage, including like Luna's Eclipse and everything else. So it should help to slow down some of the damage. And already starting out, you have Oracle drawing out a heart on the minimap. We got some lagging out the gate, so of course, Dota being Dota, it can't be a Dota game without at least one pause. So we get our first pause of the game here as the teams figure out their lag, and it looks like Oracle's going to continue to draw hearts on the map. So going through introductions here as the game is unpaused. On the Radiant side of the map, we have Cookie playing the Skywrath Mage, playing Lena, or not Lena, excuse me, Lena was banned. Luna. I think I may have referred to her as Lena in the draft as well. But Luna's Eclipse, not Lena's Eclipse. Luna being played by Joe Mike Hunt. I'm gonna have to be careful with the pronunciation of that one throughout the game. And Razor, getting in position here in the middle lane, it looks like, is going to be played by Rat Pack. Tusk rocking the beer barrel fist, or the cannon fist, I'm not exactly sure what that is the. Last but not least, walking like an Egyptian, Faceless Void is going to be played by Slendy. On the other side of the river here, as both teams get set up on the Radiant side of the map, you have Juggernaut heading back into the safe lane position. He's going to be played by Soraya. Things coming out from both teams here, but it doesn't look like either of them are going to clash. Oracle will be played by Shiro. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that beginning graphic, whatever it is. Also joining them somewhere between the mid and the top lane, playing the Bane, you have Diosa. Trying to zone out the Razor here a little bit. For the Silencer, who's going to be played by Shadow ZX. A little bit of harassment damage coming out of the top. And last but not least, on the Dire squad here, you have Slardar being played by Doge Wow Winky Face. Such dodo. Much wow. And the game is underway as PG Eclipse opts to go for a 3-1-1 lineup with 3 heroes here in the safe lane, and the 2 supports Tusk and Cookie trying to harass the Slardar out of position, but an excellent Slithering Crush is going to stall those 2 heroes out from being able to do too much damage. And so Resilience is going to opt to do the same lineup here with the 3-hero safe lane, and it's going to be the Juggernaut trying to farm his way to victory here as his 2 supports try to zone out the Faceless Void. Let me get my overlays fixed up here so you guys get to see the sexy Darmin cast overlays I have set up.
My blade is swifter.
League players in the audience. Oh no. Can't be having that, but at least you're coming to your senses and opting to watch some true competitive MOBA action. While in the top lane, speaking of MOBA action, you have Slendy and Forge duking it out.
First blood.
Or Slendy and Soraya duking it out. Everyone's Forge on Resilience. And that's going to be first blood heading the way of PG Eclipse. As Juggernaut getting a little aggressive there and diving underneath the tower. He tried to stall out and wait for his supports to get in position by eating his way into the woods, but it was little too late. But quickly teleporting back to lane, he's going to get back on the farm bandwagon. Taking a look at farm, you have Luna currently leading the charts with 18 last hits, and Juggernaut in a relatively close second being matched along with the Silencer. Things coming out from Slendy. Yeah, GG called already by the Juker, but apparently it was just a wheel communication mistake, so. Would have been the fastest AD2L game I've cast. I don't know what my current record is, but I know it's not shorter than 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And kind of a puck look-alike glyph over here on the side of the Dire, who smoke up, and it's Shiro and Diosa making their way into the middle lane here with the use of a smoke. And they're pinging out, they're notifying Silencer that they're getting in position, but it just happens to be at the 4-minute mark, and Razor's going to head to the bot rune instead to secure it. So it looks like this smoke timer is going to fade, but while it's fading, they rotate into the top, and they are going to be able to commit 4 heroes to locking down Slendy here. And the damage is real, the damage is there, but he's getting healed up by Purifying Flames. The hasted Silencer is diving for it though, throwing out those glaives, but taking a bunch of tower damage in the process. And with Cookie rotating into the tower, throwing out a little harassment himself, it's going to get him low enough for Razor to make the rotation over from the middle lane. And with just a single plasma field, clean it up and make himself one step closer to winning this lane here. So heavy commitment from Team Resilience, committing 4 to the lane, as well as a smoke, as well as time from both of their supports who had intended on ganking the Razor by the looks of things, but instead it wound up costing Silencer his life. Serbian Kappas Meanwhile, in this bottom lane, Slardar is getting zoned out. He only has 3 last hits to his name as Luna continues to sit on top of the last hit charts. And with the roll in, as well as the Lucent Beam and Ice Shards coming out from Tusk, it's going to be able to secure the first kill in the bottom lane. And it puts PG Eclipse in a pretty strong position here, as they have kills in the top, middle, and bot lane here 6 minutes into the match, as they lead 3-0. And you can see those 3 kills going to not quite the 3 cores, but you got Slendy, Rat Pack, and the Joker. But Luna was definitely there to receive some of the experience from it. Is the sound delayed, Mindstruct? Let me know if the sound is delayed. I haven't changed anything since yesterday's cast, which seemed to be going okay. I may have to take a look at it. In between matches here. So if there is a slight delay, I apologize. I'll take a look at the audio settings. Unfortunately, being a solo amateur caster, I do not have a production team with me, so everything I do is on me. I can't blame others, and I can't have people mess with things in between matches here. Slendy jumping forward with Cookie behind him is going to commit his Chronosphere, but the Oracle and Bane are there to protect their hard carry and turn the tides of the fight, so it's a 2-for-0 exchange. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, you had Tusk make the rotation into the mid lane and help Razor drop Silencer for the second time. North America Dota, GG minute 3. Yep. Shortest game of all time.
Got it.
Excellent rune control being displayed here by PG as they secure both the 8-minute runes. And I think Razor has gotten a rune every 2 minutes or so, it seems. Usually in the bottom lane, but in the top lane, it's Tusk who's rolling in, and with the Faceless Void jump, they're going to be able to drop the Oracle, but they want more as Slendy's trying to box out and find Juggernaut, but he has Phase Boot, so he's going to sprint away. And by just enough space for Tusk to heal up, he salves up, and then he snowballs back in, throwing the Ice Shards en route. And with 4 heroes being committed to the top lane by PG Eclipse, it's their turn to rotate heavily, and they claim 2 as Slardar makes his way to the top lane to once again try to defend their hard carry, but it's the Slardar and Jugs who ultimately fall in that fight.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, while all this combat is happening in the bottom lane, you have Luna doing Luna things. Just farming up a storm with 62 last hits, and that's with 0 points into the Moonglaive so far. She's been focusing on maxing out the lethal potential of her ultimate by maxing out Lucent Beam first into Eclipse, and of course Lunar Blessing helping as well. In the mid lane, the fights continue as Razor surges forward and tries to catch out Bane. The Ice Shards are on target, but the Plasma Field is just a little bit too far away from the Bane to do any damage. And Razor sitting on 73 stolen attack damage right now, while Silencer pulls the creep wave away from the tower. So no loss of life there. I take that back because somehow, oh, Tusk was slain by the Silencer, so he must have got the last word off. And as Tusk tried to retreat back to base, following those ice shards, the curse from the silencer did its work and secured him a kill as they escaped. Top lane, you have one-on-one action as Soraya and Slendy duke it out, but the Time Walk's going to be utilized there, which negates any damage the Faceless Void received in the last 2 seconds, so it pretty much negates all of Blade Fury if you time it right. Double rotations coming out from the supports on the side of the Dire, and they're looking to possibly get a return kill on Razor here as they dove behind the tier 1 tower. Silencer stepping forward, trying to get aggressive with those glaives, and he is going to get the curse off, get a couple glaives off, but it's going to cost him his life, as well as the Juggernaut who's made the rotation into the lane, and PG aren't done yet as Tusk gives the uppercut to Bane. Luna commits her Eclipse, and with all 5 heroes here from PG Eclipse, they're going to be popping all their ults, popping their plasma fields, uppercutting their opposing supports, and take a huge team fight 4 for nothing. And just as rewarding as that, they also take a middle tier 1 tower, which helps limit the vision and map control on the Dire side of the map. So 1800 experience in favor of the Radiant side, as well as about a 2k net worth swing in their favor, and that's going to put Luna and Razor both at a distinct advantage over their opposing cores on the side of Team Resilience or Forge Gaming. You have Razor out farming Silencer by about 1k, and you have Luna out farming the Dire hard carry by about 1600, and with this tower going to jump up by another 200 there. So taking a look at the net worth charts, you can see there about a 7,500 net worth difference between the two teams, as PG Eclipse are looking to play this one hyper aggressively, and they take that middle tier 1 tower. No more than a minute later they take the bottom tier 1 tower, and now they have 4 heroes rocking in this top lane here, looking to take the last tier 1 tower in the game. Meanwhile, while I focus on the tower, damage is being done in the forest as Skywrath Mage, Tusk, and I think it was Slendy help one another to pick off the Silencer, who was trying to get in position to defend it. And with his death, the remainder of Forge Gaming are going to retreat back into the jungle, into the mid lane, recognizing their towers pretty much doomed, and just trying to get as much farm as they can so that they can have a better defense of the remaining towers they do have. You have Soraya heading into the bot lane, getting some uncontested farm for a little bit, trying to keep himself relevant in this game.
Invisibility.
Bane picking up an invisibility rune. Didn't quite see where that was. It was down here in the bottom lane. So he's going to be rocking that. He's not quite level 6, so Fiend's Grip is not going to be in place. And they're seeing the double rotation from PG into this bottom lane as Joe looks to continue to farm. And the Joker, thinking he's invincible after several successful ganks, rolls into one of the Dire heroes, not realizing the entire team is there, and he gets deleted from the map very quickly. So you have the remainder of the Radiant squad surging forward, trying to get a return kill. Luna popping the ultimate at the last second is going to be able to catch out Oracle, who doesn't have time to respond. And they're going to call it a day there with the 1-for-1 trade. Tusker being traded away for the Oracle, which at this point, if you're Dire, you're okay with that. You're trading away the lowest net worth hero in the game for the Tusker, who's been able to acquire some farm. You can see there the gold advantage from just that 1-for-1 trade still favors Team Resilience by about 1,000 gold and 900 XP.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Well, thank you, Harrison MLG. Appreciate the comments. I will have the video on demand posted to my YouTube channel after today's match, along with the games I casted yesterday. So if you're at all interested in watching the replays, I will have links posted to that on the AD2L match page. Otherwise, you can check out I have a link to my YouTube channel and Twitch page down below. Somewhere, I think, next to my Twitter handles and stuff like that. So that's where I post all my videos on demand, so feel free to check them out. I even have a bunch of material from Season 9, Season 8, so if you want to see how some of these teams have played in the past, I have coverage of, I think I've cast both of these teams in the past, PG Eclipse and Team Resilience, so you can dig into their past games and see how they've grown and matured as teams and as players. Smoke committed by Team Resilience here as they rotate into the enemy jungle with Slardar, Bane, and Silencer. But they're not going to be able to find anyone as the Radiant squad are hanging out, farming the Ancients and trying to push and do some damage to this Tier 2 tower top. They see Resilience getting in position to take their first Tier 1 tower of the game here in the middle lane. And instead of dropping back to defend it, they're opting to make a trade here. Tier 1 tower for a Tier 2 tower. And since it is the safe lane Tier 2 tower, that's going to help PG lock down the map even more than it was before. The tower isn't deny range. Instead of going for it, they decide to take the fight here, and Slendy jumping forward, catching 3 heroes in the Chronos. Going to line up the Skywrath Mage perfectly, but the damage isn't quite enough to drop anyone yet. But with Tusker rotating back, he's going to roll onto the Slardar, who gets an excellent Slithering Crush, but the Oracle ultimate is only going to save him for so long, and by the time it wears up, he takes all of that damage in one single blow and ultimately falls in an accredited Skywrath Mage with a kill there. So is it 98% in the bag for Eclipse? I don't know what the math is. I can look it up for you real quick to see what Dat Dodo would say. But again, 98%, as we saw yesterday, is not 100%. So as PG look to group up and take Roshan here, it's 12k at 19 minutes. I'll see if I can act as our data guy as well. Steel Dota, thank you very much for the follow. I thought you had already followed. What took you so long, man? Let's see. 12k at 10 minutes. Hey, it says 0.988, so 98.8% chance to win, according to Dat Dota. And I don't think Team Resilience have any idea this is going on yet. They have no vision down in that area. So the Roshan is going to fall, and it's Razor who picks up the Aegis of the Immortal, as well as the Arcane Rune. And lines are being drawn on the map by Cookie saying, hey, let's head down the middle lane, see if we can't take an uphill fight here at just 20 minutes into the game. Seems like Team Resilience might have felt the same way. And they head back into their base to prepare for a defense. PG looking to see if they can get a pick off here before pushing into the high ground. Pinging out the various neutral camp spots, but they're not going to be there. They see these camps are empty, this one and this one, and so they know that someone was here recently, but they mistakenly think that they headed deeper into the jungle to continue to farm instead of heading back into their base, which is where they went. Meanwhile, on the opposing side of the map, they knew that their vision was getting limited to about that. They've added a couple defensive wards, so it's expanding their vision. It's still not quite 50-50, but some of these defensive wards are going to help them get in position to handle things a little bit more smoothly. I'm not sure. Yeah, so it's the PG ward there that's spotting out the Resilience Observer ward. So you have the PG Sentry ward spotting out the Resilience Observer ward, but it hasn't been dropped yet. I'm not sure if there's a reason for that, if they're just trying to bait out the rotations or what the case may be. But as they get in position, they are going to be spotted out by Team Resilience, who have been expecting an uphill push here ever since Roshan dropped. And as the longer they sit in base, unfortunately, the more those net worth charts, you can see them just slowly creeping up over time, because they're not able to get out and farm neutrals, they're not able to get out and farm lanes clearly, things like that, so they just have to sit back and defend. And for now it's Razor, with the comfort of that Aegis, stepping forward onto the high ground. They spot out Juggernaut as he tries to flank into the side of PG Eclipse, but Tusk is hanging out, he's spotting out the rotations of Juggernaut. He hits one of his illusions with the Walrus Punch and then snowballs into him. It is just that, an illusion, and now knowing that the Tusk ult is on cooldown, the real Juggernaut arrives, and under the protection of the Silencer ultimate is going to get a big Omni Slash off, and there's two fights breaking out here. In the front lines, it's Luna versus Team Resilience, and in the back lines, it's Juggernaut versus Razor. And for now, it's PG Eclipse that are going to walk away the victor, as it's a 1-for-4 trade. The buyback coming out for Oracle, and Razor losing his Aegis there, but that's not too big of a loss for him. And it's going to buy them about 20 seconds of protection here, as the Silencer and the Juggernaut are both down for the next 15.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire's middle barracks. Dire's middle barracks.
And with those 20 seconds, they're able to take the first racks of the game, the middle racks. You have Doge blinking forward, landing his stun, but the damage isn't there to follow it up, as Silencer and Juggernaut were both still dead. And he's going to continue the chase, and as he does so, Tusk is going to catch him out and make him pay the price, while Skywrath Mage sets his focus on Oracle. And as soon as that Oracle ult fades, Slardar once again takes a dirt nap. So the fish predictions are not holding true in this game so far. You like to follow, then unfollow, then follow to get attention. I think Moobot should actually detect that, so you shouldn't be able to do that too much. But yes, Steel Dodo, Steel Dota. You are a true attention kappa. Did get another follow though from Ethereal Dota, so appreciate it. And I know he's a true follower. Ethereal Dota will not unfollow me like some people. So far, 20-5, huge net worth advantage. You can see 3 of the top 4 positions are all the cores on the Radiant side of the map. You have Void, or Luna, Razor, and Void in that order, and then Juggernaut breaking through the 10k barrier himself. So he's finished his Manta, he has his drums, he's got phase boots, as well as 2k in the bank right now as he debates what he wants to purchase next. But there's not a lot of space for him, so any farm he gets is going to be very difficult. Whereas on the other side of the map, you can see there's constantly ancient stacks for Luna to work through. There's both sides of the map have farm that can
Time is money.
harvested by PG Eclipse, as Slendy opts to farm the Dire side of the map while the remainder of his team farms the Radiant side of the map. Have a smoke coming out from Team Resilience here as they bait out the Juggernaut in the top lane, saying, hey guys, come pick off our Juggernaut. He's all alone. He's so alone and afraid. And they have a bunch of wards in position to see any sort of rotations. But again, this is going to be another smoke wasted by Team Resilience, as they're not able to make much happen with it. And they have one more on the Bane, but that might be their final smoke for quite some time. That one used just to help protect the Juggernaut as he farmed a wave or two of creeps in the top lane. You can see here, anywhere they go, especially if they want to protect their card carry, they have to have multiple heroes surrounding him in case he gets picked off. Am I interested in casting European League? Will be a lot of fun. I actually do cast some of the AD2L EU games. They have the EU Open, I believe is what they call it. Check that. Yep, the Season 10 EU Open. I have cast a few of those games. Unfortunately, as a part-time caster, I do this just as a hobby for now. So I do have a day job, which makes casting EU games difficult for me, as it typically aligns with when I'm at work. But since I do work from home, I do have some flexibility, and I'm able to cast games in the EU area if I have a bit of a heads up and I know the teams are going to be as good as PG Eclipse and Team Resilience or Forge Gaming. So yeah, hit me up after tonight's cast, either on Twitter, through Twitch, or in Steam, and we might be able to set something up. Dota's Dota. EU, North America, China, it's all Dota to me. And speaking of Dota, taking a look here at the bottom lane as PG Eclipse kind of formed this defensive semicircle right outside the Dire base and slow siege the tier 3 tower down in the bot lane. And they're not done. Sending the Luna up into the high ground. She doesn't have the Aegis protection that Razor had to take that mid lane. And Doge, while blinking in, landing a 2-hero stun, is the Dire team are going to focus on dropping this Luna if at all possible. And she's picked up inside of the snowball and rolled into the chronosphere from Slendy as he makes short work of multiple heroes. Luna does ultimately fall, but it's going to cost the entire Team Resilience squad their lives, as well as the tower, and GG is called. And that is going to be game 1 going the way of PG Eclipse, as they take a relatively quick game here, just under 30 minutes, and dominate the scoreboard with a kill lead of 25-6. Very well played all around. You can see Razor going 8-0, the other core of the lineup, Luna going 7-1. Faceless Void not having quite as many kills, but rocking 9 assists as he was aggressively time walking forward, dropping that chronosphere and getting kills wherever he could. So well played by PG Eclipse as they take their first game and their first win of Season 10 in the AD2L tournament in the heroic bracket. I have been Darmin. If you like the cast, Please feel free to hit that follow button, as many of you have done throughout tonight's cast. I greatly appreciate it. Tell your friends, family, loved ones, co-workers, enemies, hobos on the street, random drifters, whoever you'd like to learn more about Dota. Get them out here, get them watching the game, get them having fun. It's always fun to have more bad Dota players in the mix, so I have a chance of beating someone. Because I can't compete with these guys that we've been watching, but I can compete with someone who's only been playing Dota for 2 days. So, get out there and do your civic duty and recruit more Dota players. And drive people to, of course, my channel, twitch.tv/DarminCast. Shameless plug. Alright, stay tuned, everyone. I'm going to kick it over to some music for a couple minutes, and then we will get into Game 2 as soon as both teams are ready. Stay tuned.